special edition of Bits.
We're going deep into the world of the latest game in the Tomb Raider series.
We'll bring you the lowdown on Lara Croft's darkest adventure yet, and we'll expose the ultimate revelation.
Beware, coward.
Over the next half hour, Bits gets to grips with number 4 in the Tomb Raider series, the latest adventure for Lara Croft, the biggest star of the virtual world. We talk to the Dr. Frankenstein who created her and the flesh and blood model who plays her in real life. Along the way, we attempt to reveal exactly what has transformed a page from one man's sketchpad into the most famous adventure since Indiana Jones.
But first, get an eyeful of this.
Ooh, what is she getting into now? Letting loose the undeads more than even Agatha Christie could handle. Let's climb aboard this darkest of mysteries.
Before the third Tomb Raider was even near the shop shelves, plans for the 4th installment had already begun. First question on everyone's lips, what's the plot? You'd think that by the time they got to the 4th installment of the Tomb Raider series, all the plot lines would be used up. Yesterday's news, Rotten Tomatoes. But people are demanding interesting stories in their computer games, not just fodder for the bits and bytes in between.
The developers thought so too, so they decided to spice things up a bit, limit the game to 1 level. This would be large and detailed, and somewhere in Egypt. Lara hangs out with dead Egyptian dudes in their places of burial the whole time. Build in a backstory with a young Lara and introduce the concept of evil unleashed. So,
once upon a time, a little lady named Lara got it into her 16-year-old head that she wanted to go on an archaeological excursion.
our teensy prima donna convinced Mummy and Daddy to fund a trip across Cambodia with the famous Werner von Croy. Along the way, von Croy got greedy and lost his nose for danger. One treasure too many found him caught up in a particularly nasty booby trap. Young Lara left him for dead. Oops. Years have now passed, and hey, ain't she blossomed.
Apparently, Lara's been wearing the same outfit since she was 16. Well, it's shrunk and she's grown. Not a bad combination, eh, lads?
She's been hired anonymously to raid an unopened tomb. In she goes and straight over to the sarcophagus. Sounds a bit dodgy, but Lar's not frightened of big words. Isn't that what's called an amulet? Whatever, into the goodie bag it goes. What Crofty doesn't know is that after millennia of happy, clappy Egyptian days, she's gone and released the spirit of the ancient plague god Set. Oops again. What she doesn't know still is that Von Croy survived that nasty Cambodian escapade. And guess what? Lara's no longer the teacher's pet. Even worse, Croy boy's in town and he's got his eyes on that amulet. Mad God Set's got his eyes on Croy. Things are looking bad for the Larbar.
If you're looking for a revolutionary thought in a Penguin classic, you'll have to head to the library. But Last Revelation's good enough to pass the time. Core Design, the birthplace of Lara Croft.
It looks like an ordinary office. Could be the back room of any building society, but this is the office where every Tomb Raider's been created. It's easy to think up big ideas, but someone's got to piece them together. Research. So you were responsible for hours and hours of frustration.
Yes.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
This is the person to talk to if you want to complain. What's your favorite part of the process?
A bit of everything, really. Rocks are just a pain because
they're so complicated, and to make something look organic requires you to do work in the editor. Whereas to make a room, to make a tomb with columns in it, it's easy because it's symmetrical.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, right, and these rocks are staring you in the face, and all you want to do is just pack it in. What's the worst experience?
The worst experience is when you've just finished a room, you go to save it and it crashes, and the room's taken you 4 hours to build. Then you just want to get your keyboard, smack your monitor, and run off.
Okay, so you've made yourself a wonderful first-person game here, but it's not the point, is it? Where's Lara?
Lara is next door with Jer.
You're the man who gets to play with Lara. Are you tired of looking at her?
Yep.
So show me a little bit about Lara. This is Lara completely without anything except the holsters, isn't it?
The nearest you get to nude Lara. This is one of the scenes which unfortunately didn't make it into the game. So this is just basically when she climbs up a wall face.
Wow.
This is one of the puzzles. When she solves a puzzle, she does get little animation as a reward as such. So she pushes you up the lid and she reaches inside for a hidden item inside the box, the sarcophagus as such, and steps back. Simple 2-door one. She's opening doors now for the first time in the game. So just to show this big, epic opening doors. It was a cool thing to come onto in Tomb Raider in the first place, but the workload is enormous.
So do you ever dream about Lara?
No.
Phew.
The last revelation is a return to the fleetingly frustrating, tension-filled, action-packed and puzzle-powered game that so many of us momentarily gave up our social lives for years ago.
Core have made a substantial overhaul. One of the most refreshing changes is the inventory. It used to be overcomplicated. Now everything is clearly visible and accessible. They've also added a new twist. You can combine your pickups. Top of the list is adding a laser sighting to your weapons. A quick twitch of the first-person button and you're able to pick off targets with precision. No more wasting ammo.
The level design is altogether tighter than the previous two. The balance between action, adventure and puzzling is just right. Levels have been broken down into neater sections of a more manageable size, which means that you won't find yourself aimlessly wandering through huge environments in search of that last tiny, elusive puzzle.
Overall, it's a classy game, despite the usual polygon folding and blocked moves. You get the freedom to explore and adventure with a well-balanced level of difficulty. Although the puzzles are not overly brain-taxing, they do demand timing and physical perfection. So being in full control of Lara is essential. And here's a tip. Keep an eye open for scratch marks on the floor and vases that don't break when you shoot them.
The lady herself is once again a pleasure to play, but the last revelation is the game that should have come out 3 years ago. Still, it is good to see the old girl back on form.